Georgia. And I truly think that he's one of the best X's and O's coaches in all of football, and that means college and pro. His run and shoot style offense, of course, he was a quarterback at Portland State back in the 70s for Mouse Davis, the pioneer of the run and shoot offense. And he is a type of guy that specializes in turning programs around. And you look at Hawaii, you look at SMU, and I'm not sure there's a better coach in college football when it comes to picking up something that's broken and putting the pieces back together.
And on the other side, you've got one of the 3 active coaches who, well, he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. Chris Ault, his 5th year of his 3rd term, so 25 years overall at Nevada. He was the AD for a while, took the program back over, brought it back. He saw it go from Division II to where they are right now. SMU won the toss. They elect to receive, and it's dropped by Brian McCann, who picks it up, runs to the near sideline, and is brought down out at the 21-yard line. So that's where the Mustang offense will start their first series of the game. SMU 7-5 overall, 6-2 in Conference USA play. The Western co-champs and a youngster, a freshman, running the show. Kyle Padron, who's from South Lake, Texas. South Lake Carroll High School. They've produced some great quarterbacks through the years. 6'4", 201 pounds. He came on because Bo Levi Mitchell was injured in the 7th game and has run it since, and run it very well, David.
Yeah, he really has. And you mentioned South Lake Carroll, and Greg McElroy at Alabama. He's going to be in the national title game. He's from South Lake, and we all remember Chase Daniel at Missouri, a Heisman finalist.
So here comes the run and shoot. Zach Line gets the call. He gets the start, and he's driven backward, runs right into that defensive front of Nevada for a loss. Brandon Marshall, the first guy in there to stop it. So it's Zach Line who gets the first carry, not Sean Bray McNeil, who's gone over 1,000 yards. The first 1,000-yard rusher ever in college for June Jones. Pretty amazing.
That is amazing, and not that June Jones doesn't stress the run game, but usually when he's had success with a back at the college level, it's a 700 or 800-yard season. And McNeil, a Miami transfer, and he runs like a hurricane. 5
receivers set now after the loss of 1. It's 2nd and 11. Padron back, steps up, throws over the middle. He's got his man. Open is Cole Beasley. One guy to beat. Inside the 10, down to the 9. Padron right on target on the 2nd play from scrimmage. Beasley, a sophomore from Little Elm, Texas. That's his 38th catch of the year.
Well, June Jones has long been a vertical advocate in the pass game. And he goes with 5 wide receivers. We thought we might see this early. Nevada thin in the defensive backfield, and Beasley creases it up the seam.
And Nevada without a couple of key players defensively. More on that in just a moment, but it is 1st and goal from the 9. Sean Bray McNeil looks to get to the outside. Gets to the end zone, touchdown just like that. SMU is on the board early here in Honolulu. All right, so what was it that we said? This could be a game where we see a lot of points?
Yeah, we thought maybe some scoring, and I think we're going to get it. And you get a look at Sean Bray McNeil. I mentioned he runs like a hurricane, and I didn't mean a proverbial hurricane. I meant a Miami hurricane. He has that type of talent.
After the 71-yard pass, that was a 9-yard touchdown run. Matt Szymanski on for the extra point. 13-29. You blink your eyes, you might miss a touchdown today.
Well, and it was a nice run to finish off the drive, but how about the ball down the center of the field to Cole Beasley? It looked with the naked eye like Padron might have overthrown him, and Beasley did a great job keeping his deep speed, gobbled up that reception, and McNeil walks in.
3 plays, 79 yards, a minute 31 off the clock, and yes, the Mustangs are here.
Peruna.
That's Peruna. That's not one of the 2 that bring the team to the stadium, and then Peruna takes over once they're inside the stadium, but they did ship them, yes.
There's been some drama down in Highland Park. They brought in the 2 new Mustangs, and Some of the old guards said, hey, we like Peruna, don't bring those Mustangs out on our field, and so they all get involved in the pregame, I hear now, but Peruna has survived. There's a Mustang.
There you go.
Well, they let him in this stadium.
Khalid Wooten, Mike Ball back deep for the Wolfpack. It'll be Ball from the 14. Across the 30, still up. Good return, out close to the 40-yard line. So a chance now for this Nevada offense to put some points on the board. There is a flag down at the 38 at the end of the play. Lan Clark, your referee today.
During the return, holding, return team, number 49. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Nevada.
All right, so Colin Kaepernick with his offense backed up a little bit after the hold, but Kaepernick, just a junior. I think people forget that, all that he's accomplished, but second leading rusher. In fact, he's in the top 30 in the nation, 28 in the nation as a rushing quarterback. And he's got an arm as well, and people don't think of that first, mostly because they've been so effective running the football this year. They've led the nation by far, but they haven't thrown it nearly as much as they would have liked to. Keep it on the ground and come this way. Good carry out to the 36. Lamford Mark, the sophomore from Fresno, and the fourth leading rusher this year, just under 300 yards. But remember, Lippincott and Tawa out. That'll be a major storyline for Nevada through the afternoon. Mark, along with Mike Ball, splitting the carries at the tailback spot. Virgil Green, an important part of the offense at tight end. They use 3 tight ends, and they're a big part of the blocking scheme. Gain of 7 on first down, so it's 2nd and 3. Out of the pistol, Mark again, straight ahead, powers his way close to a first down. It looks like he did get it. And that'll be the storyline, offensively at least, for Nevada. Can SMU get enough strength and numbers up in the box to stop the run?
Well, and it's also going to be a lot about the front 3 and how they hold up, because Nevada spreads you out. They make you play sound in terms of responsibilities. Who's going to take the quarterback, who's going to take the tailback on the zone read, and this offensive line has been terrific. The numbers have been staggering when you talk about the run game for Nevada this year.
You talk about that pistol offense, the quarterback a little closer to the line of scrimmage, the back behind him. Kaepernick keeps it and gets across the 40 to the 42. Marquise Frazier, a sophomore from Garland, Texas, on the stop. Check out our impact players, brought to you by Theraflu when Nevada has the ball.
Yeah, Lamford Mark, he went over the 100-yard mark against San Jose State. 475 career yards. He's gotten a lot of quality carries over the last couple of years. Brandon Wimberly, the freshman offensive player of the year in the WAC. He's the best freshman that Chris Auld has ever had at the wide receiver spot. And then Chase Kennemer, a middle linebacker, originally a walk-on, a transfer from Texas A&M as a walk-on, and he is one of the top 15 tacklers when you look at total tackles in the country.
Kennemer going to law school. He's a grad student. Quick throw complete. Virgil Green, the tight end. Should have a first down. He does. Across midfield into SMU territory. And Kaepernick throwing for the first time and throwing on the run.
Yeah, we talked about the numbers, and they have been truly impressive, but with Colin Kaepernick, his improvement as a passer in the offseason has been pretty remarkable. He's gone from about a 50% passer to up over 60%, and he can threaten you 2 ways offensively.
Ball and Mark in the game now, both tailbacks, and it's Lamford Mark who carries it inside the 45. Frazier again in on the stop. Frazier, Chris Parham, and Taylor Thompson up front, and they do play that 3-4, kind of a Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and those 3 will be key today. And Chris Banjo wearing number 23. Jerry Levias, first African-American player in the Southwest Conference back in the 60s, an All-American. It's kind of handing that number out in honor of him, and Banjo has earned it. Lamford Mark, the carry, just inside the 40 as Nevada keeps it on the ground.
Yeah, this offense on the ground has been unstoppable at times, especially during the 8-game win streak in the WAC schedule. They lost their finale, Chris Ault's team, to Boise State 44-33. First time in NCAA history 3 players on an offense all go over 1,000 yards rushing.
He started the season 0-3, lost to Notre Dame, Colorado, and Missouri. Courtney Randall now in that tailback. Kaepernick keeps it, hit right at the 40 and stopped there. Rock Dennis, the strong safety, came up to make the hit.
Yeah, this is in an area of the field where I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Ault lines up on 4th down and goes for it. Looks like he's going to send the punt team on.
Yeah, June, you could tell he was a little hesitant too to see what they were going to do, and Kaepernick comes back.
Pull him back off.
Yep, they will go for it.
They had the punt team all the way out to the center of the football field, and
SMU had their punt team on the field, and now they've got to burn a timeout to get the right personnel back on. Back to Honolulu in a moment. So June Jones forced to burn that timeout to get the right personnel on defensively. 4th and 2 coming up for Nevada. They've been very good this year. Chris Ault's team 11 of 15 on 4th down this year. Keep it on the ground. There goes Ball. Looks for a hole, hit right at the line.
Didn't get it.
Trying to extend there. Not sure he got it.
No, he did not get it.
Pete Fleps came up, tripped him up, undercut him, and he's going to come up short. Sterling Moore, a cornerback who's missed the last 2 because of a leg injury, back in the lineup, also in on the hit.
Yeah, this is great pursuit by SMU on the perimeter, and you've really got to rally to the football against this rushing game for Nevada. Fleps going low, getting into the legs of Mike Ball. That's a terrific stop by this SMU defense.
Sterling Moore, number 2, you saw him there, and they really were hoping to get him back for this one, and he is ready and going. The other number 2, offensively now, set to go. Kyle Padron had that 71-yard pass to set up the touchdown. Has time, steps up, got his man again. Emmanuel Sanders wide open. Dragged down inside the 5-yard line. 2 quick strikes from Padron, this one to Emmanuel Sanders, who has broken nearly every record at SMU.
Yeah, SMU's having some success out of the left slot here early, and this must look pretty familiar to the locals. Wide receivers running free down the football field, quarterbacks putting the ball on the money. Looks a lot like Colt Brennan and Timmy Chang to me. 2 pretty solid throws from Kyle Padron to open up this football game.
58 yards on the pass from Padron to Sanders. 1st and goal from the 3, and they've got to burn their 2nd timeout. About the only thing that hasn't gone right for June Jones and SMU so far. You know, just being here, obviously a remarkable accomplishment. Last year 1-11, and now 7-5, and you know, the death penalty back in the 80s, it's the only time that's ever been imposed at the FBS level, and 3-year probation. Did not play for 2 seasons. And the 2nd season, it was because they elected not to play. They're all away games they were supposed to play. And since then, 1 winning season until this year.
Yeah, there has not been another team that has faced the so-called death penalty since. And I think a big part of that is the fact that it's just so devastating on a program. I think there's been a couple, violations by programs along the way that might have warranted a death penalty situation, but the NCAA, I think, understands just how devastating it was to SMU. And if there's one guy in college football that could take a program from the depths like an SMU and turn it around, I think it would be June Jones.
You want to name names, program-wise?
No.
All right.
Not without my attorney.
All right, I was just wondering. Well, it's the greatest turnaround ever when he took over at Hawaii, winless, and he made them into a 9-4 team the first year. Doing the same here at SMU. 1st and goal from the 3. McNeil bounces off a 1. Can he get away from the next? No. Brought down for a loss back at the 5, and there is a flag down. Kevin Basped, who led the league in sacks this year on the penetration.
Foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 8. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Marlon Johnson, the man who's flagged for the face mask.
Well, and Seanbray McNeil has tremendous lateral ability. The jump cuts. And it gives you a little Barry Sanders action with his quickness. And that looks like more the collar of the jersey than the face mask on that one.
You know what? It was Jonathan Amaya. They said number 8, but Marlon Johnson was not in on that. That was Jonathan Amaya, the senior from Diamond Bar. So it's first and goal, and dancing into the end zone easily is Seanbray McNeil for his second touchdown of the afternoon. Making it look easy. The people who've made their way here from Dallas are loving the start of this one.
Well, and the Mustangs have looked sharp in the pass game, hitting a couple deep balls down the center of the football field. They've also been pretty impressive down on the goal line. Twice McNeil has scored easily.
Szymanski on for the extra point. It's up and it is good. So the two pass plays, one 71 yards, the next one 58 yards, setting up the easy touchdown runs from Seanbray McNeil, and it has been all Mustangs so far in this one. 14-0 SMU. Minute 31 on the first drive, a minute 5 off the clock on the second drive, and 2 touchdowns. White ball back deep, very deep, 7 yards deep. Khalid Wooten says keep it right there, take a knee, and they'll bring it out to the 20. And SMU, well, on offense, finding something to exploit with that Nevada defense.
Well, what they're doing is they're emptying out in the backfield, and they're getting 5 receivers in the game. And remember, they can get Seanbray McNeil as a 5th wide receiver. They'll split him out, tailback splitting out wide, and he's one of the better receiving tailbacks that we see in college football. Just a freak as a pass catcher out of the backfield. And Nevada is going with 4 cornerbacks, 4 defensive backs. June Jones has found a way to match up his slot men on linebackers down the field, and he's taken advantage twice on those mismatches.
He also knows he's not going to completely stop this Nevada offense today. They average over 40 points per game, top 5 in the nation. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Chris Wellington, made a break on it. Sterling Moore was there, though. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10. Nevada, the top rushing attack in the country this year, but as I say, top 5 in points and 2nd in the nation in total offense. Chris Salt would like to throw it a little bit more, though. And maybe today, without Lippincott and Tawa, and especially down 14-0, he'll have to. Brandon Wimberly in motion, they hand it off. Keep it on the ground with Lampford Mark, and a short game's going to bring up 3rd down. Pete Fleps on the stop. And there is Luke Lippincott, over 1,000 yards this year. Out with toe surgery. Already had it over 3,000 yards in his career. Session and Wellington, the receivers to the far side. 3rd and 6, Kaepernick out of the shotgun. Steps up, run down from behind, dropped at the 21-yard line. Taylor Thompson got him from behind. So it's not only the SMU offense that's been impressive so far.
Well, this is a situation that Nevada hasn't faced much this season. They got behind against Boise State in the final game of the season. But SMU has taken Nevada out of their comfort zone early, forcing Kaepernick into some passing situations that Nevada usually doesn't face.
Brad Langley on for the punt. The dangerous Emmanuel Sanders back at his 40. This one returnable. Steps up, cross midfield, still up. Finally spins and is hit at the 43-yard line of Nevada. Sanders, the guy who had the long catch just a moment ago, a top 5 return man in the nation in terms of punts. The 18-yard return from Sanders, setting it up. 1st and 10 at the 43. Quick out, quick strike, complete. At the 37, Aldrich Robinson, 3rd leading receiver on the year. The junior with the catch. Doyle Miller on the coverage.
I talked to Jeff Reinbold, the wide receiver coach for SMU last night, and he told me that June Jones was going to utilize some 5 wide receiver sets, and if Nevada chose to go to man-to-man, they'd have to match up with a linebacker on one of those 5 receivers. And what that does is it makes Nevada think really hard about playing man-to-man, and then they get into zone. That's a much more comfortable situation for a true freshman quarterback when he drops back in the pocket.
McNeil in the backfield now, 4 receivers. Over the middle, Padron guns it low, but it's caught. Aldrick Robinson went down low to get it. And when SMU has the football, our Theraflu impact players starting with the man who's going over 1,000 yards for the season, Seanbray McNeil.
June Jones, first 1,000+ yard rusher in his college career. That's saying something. Emmanuel Sanders, 278 career catches. He's going to be a factor on the next level. He's a bona fide NFL pick. And then Dante Moak, the player of the year defensively in the WAC.
So now you got that set, a 5 receiver set. McNeil, one of the receivers right now. Over the middle, Sanders couldn't hold on. Thrown a little high and maybe a little hard.
Let's go back to the last big pass play that set up the second touchdown, and let's take a look at how June Jones is getting people open in secondary. This is Sanders right here. He's going to release and get a matchup on Bethea, the middle linebacker. And that is not a matchup. Sanders going to run right by him, and Padron, good timing on the ball, nice accuracy, leads Sanders down the middle of the field.
Yeah, maybe a misnomer calling it a matchup. He's not going to be able to cover him all day. Neal, nice catch just to save it, but that ball was almost like a jump shot. A little soft jump shot. Nate Aguiava was all over Kyle Padron, who now talks to June Jones.
And pretty remarkable, Padron coming in for Bo Levi Mitchell. Mitchell going down with a shoulder injury against Houston, and first 3 starts, Padron was 3-0, and the numbers have been pretty exceptional. Over 150 pass efficiency rate.
Padron to throw. One-on-one coverage, man for man, and nice catch. Robinson caught it before going out of bounds, and it'll be 1st and goal again as he beat Doyle Miller.
And this is a back shoulder fade.
Wow.
And that is some kind of catch. It's a fade route, but it's not an over-the-top ball. Aldrick Robinson is expecting that ball on the back shoulder. Ball was a little bit high. Great adjustment to the football by number 24.
You know, if you're a receiver, you're playing for June Jones, you're going to get a chance to showcase your skills. Robinson doing it today. Emmanuel Sanders has done it all year. Seanbray McNeil in the backfield, going to get the carry. Runs right into the line of scrimmage and stops behind it for a loss of 1. And it'll bring up 2nd and goal.
Well, McNeil played 2 years at Miami, lining up in the eye, and it was quite a transition to come and get in a shotgun offense, sit on the hip of the quarterback, and take the ball moving laterally before he gets it north and south. And it took him 4 or 5 games this season to really get comfortable in the shotgun running the ball, but he has hit stride in the second half of the season, and he really jumps off the film when you look at him over the course of the season.
One of those guys, the more you watch him, the more you appreciate his skills. Looks for room, not going to find any, and fights his way back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's it. Nevada, I mentioned it, a little bit shorthanded defensively today. Andre Davis, a backup middle linebacker who would be playing quite a bit, was actually involved in a theft on Monday, or at least arrested for theft here in Honolulu and sent home, dismissed from the team. And Duke Williams, strong safety, was suspended on Monday as well for a violation of team rules, and he was sent back home to Reno.
You don't want to lose your nickel back. Duke Williams comes in nickel situations. You don't want to lose your nickel back when you're lining up against the run and shoot from June Jones.
Power runner Zach Line now in for Seanbray McNeil in the backfield. Padron's going to throw, though, to the corner of the end zone and incomplete. Terrence Wilkerson late to turn around for that one, but it wasn't catchable anyway. So it brings up 4th down. And the Wolfpack fans taking solace in the fact that at least made a nice stop here on a 1st and goal situation. Matt Szymanski on for a little more than an extra point. 22 yards, up and good. So Chris Ault's got to find a way to turn this thing around. 17-0. It's pretty nice for him. 9.5. June Jones got to love his trip so far back to the island. Used to have a Harley here that he would ride up to the North Shore the day after game day. Now he's got one in Dallas, but he actually sold the one here for charity when he left. Mike Ball is going to watch this one sail in and out of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Nevada trying to get something going on offense. There's a late flag that comes in as Kaepernick keeps it and gets it up to the 25-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
So the problems continue for the Wolfpack. How about Joe McKnight in that situation at USC?
Well, Dari Noka mentioned that it was good news. I'm not sure that's good news for Boston College.
Yeah, right.
That's bad news for Boston College. But no, it is good to see him back on the field and practicing. Rod Gilmore was on College Football Live earlier today. He was at practice. He's going to be covering that football game with Joe Tessitore, and apparently didn't take a lot of reps. But USC's been struggling. They need all the offense they can get going into that Emerald Bowl.
And how motivated will they be after being in BCS Bowl after BCS Bowl? Kaepernick, the keeper, up to the 17, maybe the 16, stopped there. And Chase Kennemer brought him down there. This offense right now, in slow motion, it seems. Is it SMU's defense, their scheme, or is it just the fact that they haven't gotten it going yet?
Well, I think that the defense for SMU has played things well along the line of scrimmage early in this football game, and it always helps when you jump out to a 2-touchdown plus lead early.
And if you're an offense built around the run, and now you're down 17-0 early, you've got to pass it at some point, and that's what they're going to do. Contact at the 30 and no call. Brandon Wimberly ran right into Chase Kennemer, who's got a right to that ground, to that position. Take a look.
This was solid coverage down the field, and nice job by Kennemer walling him off there.
Oh. Yeah, but did you see him go to his helmet right away? He thought he was going to get flagged.
Well, I'm not sure that Kennemer didn't have a right to that ground, as you were talking about, Terry, and pretty good coverage across the board in the secondary for SMU.
So it's 3rd and 14. If you're Nevada, you don't want to be in these situations at all. Kaepernick escapes once, not the second time. Margus Hunt, the big, and I do mean big, defensive end in there for the sack. A redshirt freshman from Estonia who was a junior Olympic champ in the discus and the shot put and is now playing football.
Well, the big key coming into this game was, could SMU protect their young quarterback, Kyle Padron? And now all of a sudden, I think that the storylines have changed. It looks like Nevada, the team that's having trouble protecting their quarterback, and they are not having a lot of success on the ground early.
Emmanuel Sanders back at midfield awaiting the punt of Brad Langley. This is a good one. Really good. Sanders barely able to get up with it. Going the wrong way. Gets a block to spring him, then hit hard. Out of bounds inside the 25. Well, Sanders probably ran about 75 yards on that. Tallahassee Piloka, the man who hit him hard at the end.
Watch. I mean, you talk about squaring up a punt returner.
Tallahassee Piloka Jr., the senior from Reno, and a backup tight end. 59 yards on the punt.
I don't think Piloka was real intent on wrapping him up on that play.
Get the chin strap. The chin strap actually knocked loose. Maybe. Got it back on though. Sanders had a big day already. 1st and 10, just outside the 25. Haven't stopped this offense yet. Will swing out of the backfield to McNeil. Chandre, a burst of speed, brings it out to the 40, and they'll move the chains again, which is getting redundant.
24 receptions on the year for McNeil, and June Jones told us about McNeil, one of the best receiving backs he's had, both at the college and the pro level, and you can see just how smooth he is as an athlete. Soft hands and a pretty nice ball from Padron.
Well, how great was that news that they got just before the season that McNeil would be cleared to play by the NCAA after the transfer not sitting out a year because of extenuating personal circumstances. His mother was sick. He's from Dallas, wanted to be back home near her, and now she's doing okay. Actually came to a game for the first time earlier today. McNeil wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Khalid Wooten, the redshirt freshman, making a nice stop, and that'll do it here in the first. It's been all June Jones in his homecoming back here in Hawaii. Back 5 times this year. 2 of those times they were down 14-0. So it's a situation where they have to do it again here in the bowl game. Padron looking for space to run in. Gets outside, has some room, and run out at the 48-yard line. So if you are Chris Ault, what adjustments do you have to make right now?
Well, I think Nevada has to start playing better on 1st down offensively. It's a team that lives on getting big chunks and easy 2nd down situations. And then we take a look at Kyle Padron. If you're going to play quarterback for June Jones in this run and shoot system, you got to be able to move around, and you got to be able to help your offensive line from time to time, both with your pocket movement and pulling the football down. And I think we all remember Colt Brennan and the way that he moved around effortlessly behind the line of scrimmage.
There's that 5-receiver set on 3rd and 4, looking to exploit a mismatch. Padron goes down in the backfield. Kevin Basped, who led the WAC in sacks, had 8 sacks on the year, gets another one now. And the punt team will come on.
Basped just overpowers the left guard, Josh Laribas. And he takes both Laribas and Padron on the play.
First punt of the day. They had 3 possessions prior to this and 3 scores. Szymanski on for the punt. Antoine Thompson is back, and Isaiah Fry swarmed under right at the 10-yard line. Good coverage, good hit. Good look at Molokai by Lanai and Maui. We're on Oahu, of course, here in Honolulu, the 8th edition of the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. And Nevada down 17-0. Terry Gannon, David Norrie. Wolfpack keeping it on the ground, which they like to do. Tough yards ahead for about 3. You know, you got the update in the studio a moment ago. Craig Thompson's got to be throwing a party at this point in the Mountain West.
Yeah, well, we did that New Mexico Bowl last week, and of course Wyoming, what a double overtime win in that game against Fresno State. He was sky high sitting next to us on the plane out of Albuquerque, and he must be walking on air right now after the way that BYU and Utah treated the Pac-10 the last couple nights.
What's up with the Pac-10 right now?
One of the better leagues in college football, I think, right up there with the SEC, but they are not playing well in the early bowl season.
Kaepernick, sleight of hand. Nice fake, gets the outside, around the edge, close to a 1st down, but maybe just short of it. You get an example of why he was their 2nd leading rusher on the season, one of the top in the country. Chris Ault, the little general, 5 straight trips to bowl games, but they've lost their last 3, trying to turn that around. It's been one of the major sources of inspiration this week. Their last 1st down was at the 11-minute mark, by the way, of the 1st quarter. 0 for 3 on 3rd down. 3rd and 1. Kaepernick's going to throw. Looking to the sidelines, got his man. Brandon Limberly on the catch. And they will move the chains.
Now we finally get a look at what Colin Kaepernick can do on the move, and that was a nice ball on the move to his left. And Wimberly is really the featured wide receiver. This group on the perimeter for Nevada, and a welcome move of the chains for Chris Ault.
Wimberly 46 catches on the year, 5 for touchdowns, and the conference freshman of the year. Courtney Randall on the carry, junior from California, who averages almost 8 yards per carry. Look at their average, and it's amazing overall. Kaepernick and Mike Ball, who averages over 10 yards a carry.
As a team, 7.5 yards per carry and over 362 yards per game, tops in college football. We'll look at Luke Lippincott on the sideline.
Mark coming this way, delivers the hit as he goes out of bounds up at the 45. So they move the chains again. You start to get an idea of this offense now as it moves a couple of times, and it's been a while in this one.
Mark and Ball give you an injection of speed, but you still lose a lot without Lippincott and Tawa. And Lippincott and Tawa combined this year for 210 yards per game. And you talk about losing some production.
And Lippincott over 3,000 yards in his career, and Tawa almost 3,000 yards. Mark ahead for 2 along the left side. Chase Kennemer on the stop.
And these are two tailbacks that have both led the WAC in rushing. Lippincott back in 2007, and Tawa. You know, when you look at Tawa running the football, I'm not sure there's a guy that hits the ball quicker and with more urgency between the tackles than Tawa. Not a big speed guy, maybe about a 4.55, 4.6 guy, but he splits it so quickly that he's always a threat on the big runs.
And as comes on the blitz, Kaepernick sidesteps him, throws on the run. Wimberly high into the air and incomplete. Sterling Moore on the coverage.
It's nice for SMU to have Sterling Moore back. A pretty serious injury in the UTEP game. A knee injury, and I'm really surprised he's back. But watch the way he gets his eyes back to the quarterback. It's a pretty nice throw from Kaepernick. Taking a shot down the field. Trying to lay the ball on Wimberly, and Moore did a great job of getting his eyes back to the football and making a play.
So it brings up 3rd and 8 for Kaepernick in the Wolfpack offense. And he'll burn a timeout, come to the sideline and talk to Chris Ault. That's their first here in the first half. So come back and it'll be 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8 coming up as they disrupt the journey. How rude. Big play, though, for the Wolfpack offensively to try to continue this drive. They have not been able to put anything together. Kaepernick as they blitz. Quick throw, almost picked off. Incomplete. Wimberly was there, but Sterling Moore had the best shot at it. And it brings up 4th and 8. Now, why was it not shown in the U.S.?
It was Super Bowl Sunday. The Dolphins and the Redskins. The Dolphins were putting their finishing touches on their perfect season, 17-0, and so the Aloha from Hawaii was not broadcast until April on tape to the United States.
Suspicious Minds from that performance. That's got to be classic. That's
Suspicious Minds was on the set list.
Langley's punt. Sanders, this one's very short. Comes up, he's thinking about it. Now he takes it. Up at the 24, he was going to let it go, and it took a Nevada bounce. Well done, Mr. Norton. The journey comes to a close today in Honolulu.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Padron throws. McNeil out of the backfield. Look at that burst to the outside. Just short of a first down. Still going along the sideline.
And we had some people help us along the way on the journey. A lot of additional work on days before games. Vic Thomas, audio. James Christopher on camera, and then Alicia Herzog did a terrific job. Mike Stivers, our technical director. Big B, Brian Coffer, our stage manager. And Robert Bubba Slosby, our producer. Bubba, great job.
Nice job introducing the band, Elvis.
I love you, Scylla.
2nd and 1. Padron out of the gun. Zach Line in at tailback now. Quick throw, near sideline. Robinson with the catch and run out at the 45. This offense continues to click. You had the 2 quick strikes early, and then, you know, David, as a defense, you're back on your heels at that point.
Well, in Nevada on defense, their job was to get Padron uncomfortable in the pocket. And you look at June Jones and you look at his true freshmen, and they look anything but uncomfortable at this point. I mean, how many times you see June Jones just walking very calmly, almost clinical on the sidelines, and Padron is in rhythm.
No shock to see this offense click, and Nevada's pass defense has not been all that impressive this year. Padron out of the pocket. Somehow Robinson with the catch, it just stuck to his right arm, and a short gain up at the 48. He drilled it. He was only about 3 yards away from it.
Well, that was a nice play, one-handed play by Robinson. Look at that. Ball thrown behind him. Dangerous pass. Possible deflection. Robinson makes a one-handed catch.
Robinson, probably the fastest guy on the team. State champ in the 100 meters. Of course, they have 4 of them on this team. And Padron, some impressive numbers so far. 11 of 13, 206 yards. Has time, throws deep. Robinson over the middle, and he can't connect. And he had a step on Mo Harvey. Padron would love to get that one back.
Well, great passing offenses always have receivers running deep, always getting through the secondary and threatening a defense vertically. And what that does, and June knows this, June Jones knows this very well from his times playing quarterback all the way through his career as a head coach. It doesn't allow a defense to lean on you on offense, and it keeps the secondary playing up near the line of scrimmage. SMU doing a nice job of running receivers deep.
5 receivers on 3rd and 7. He has his pick. He has his man. He has a first down. Cole Beasley, who had that long 71-yard catch to set up the first touchdown. They'll move the chains.
June Jones has always done a good job of converting players to wide receivers, good athletes. Cole Beasley, a former high school quarterback. Look at Terrence Wilkerson, another wideout on this team. He played quarterback in high school. And Terry, we remember Hawaii, guys like Devon Bess and Ryan Grice Mullen. A couple of very successful slot guys that played other positions before June Jones moved them to wideout.
Making you think right now that 2007, 2018, Cole Glennon and all those targets. Neal can't get away from the tackler. Isaiah Fry made a nice stop.
Well, 2007 was the perfect regular season, 12-0, and June Jones took his Hawaii team down to the Sugar Bowl. They lost pretty convincingly to Georgia, but a season the likes that have never been seen here in Hawaii. People forget about the season before, Terry. Colt Brennan as a junior, the most successful season statistically for a quarterback in the history of NCAA football. And you got to give that guy a lot of credit for Colt Brennan's performance throughout his career.
And Kyle Padron, in terms of passing efficiency, maybe not in that category, but pretty darn impressive as a freshman taking over. Hit as he throws, threw it up for grabs, and it should have been picked off. Jonathan Amaya had it and just saw it go right through his hands.
Well, this was almost a turnover down the field, almost an interception. It was pretty close to a shot in the back and a fumble. Padron very lucky to get that ball off. Kalen Burnett coming free off the edge on the right side.
Burnett, whose brother starts for the Chargers.
Kevin.
And they expect him to be a star for this Nevada defense. 3rd and 9. McNeil will shovel pass to him. Schonbray shaking, dancing, has a first down, brought down inside the 20. James Michael Johnson ran him down from behind.
Well, and this is a shovel pass in tight quarters. It looks like McNeil is hemmed in. That's a nice play by Padron to put it on his back shoulder, and then the finish on the run was pretty convincing by McNeil. Pretty physical back for a smaller back.
And a gain of 15 again, this time on 3rd and 9. The prior situation was 3rd and 7. They picked up 15. So it's 1st and 10. McNeil knifes his way through for a gain of about 2.
You hear so much over the years about the run and shoot and the 45, 50 attempts per game. Of course, Mouse Davis, the architect, the pioneer. He coached June Jones at Portland State. Mouse Davis developed that offense back in the late 60s, early 70s. And, you know, it's a real misnomer, Terry. Running has always been a big part of this offense, and it's been mainly the draw play and the trap play. Talk about the big junior and senior seasons for Colt Brennan. A couple very productive backs in the backfield at Hawaii in those 2 years.
June Jones quick to give the credit to Mouse Davis for creating that. Sanders the catch, beats one, sidesteps another, brought down in the end zone. Touchdown. SMU fans loving it. Hawaii fans apparently loving it. Cheering for June Jones in his homecoming.
Well, this is a nice job. A quarterback in the run and shoot has to put the ball on receivers to give them opportunities to get the ball upfield. That was a perfect front pocket throw by Padron. And a nice job by Sanders to do the rest.
Matt Szymanski from College Station, Texas on for another extra point. First time in a quarter century the Mustangs are in a bowl game. I guess they've been waiting for this one for a while. Ken Wilson, who was serving as the defensive coordinator for Nevada. Nigel Burton took the head job at Portland State, but it's time to make a couple of adjustments for Ken Wilson, trying to figure things out. Not much of a return from Mike Ball just across the 15-yard line, David.
Well, and we talked to June Jones, and we also talked to Jeff Reinbold, the wide receiver coach, and they felt like they could make some hay taking advantage of that transition. And they're showing some new wrinkles. They're getting 5 wide receivers in the games. They're taking advantage of some mismatches against linebackers. But really, I think that the biggest factor has been Ken Wilson's defense has not been able to create pressure on Padron. And when a quarterback is comfortable in the run and shoot and he's throwing the ball accurately, there are not a lot of adjustments that you can make beyond getting a pass rush revved up.
Lamford Mark carries it across the 20, but the offense hasn't exactly held its own either for Nevada. And again, not to dwell on it, but now you're a team that's built around the run and you're down 24-0.
You're built around possessing the football. You're built around controlling things at the line of scrimmage. You're not built around 24-point deficits, and this is not a team that comes from behind very well.
Mark the carry up to the 25, about 2 yards shy of a first down. So 3rd and 2. They're going to throw it. Rolling Kaepernick, looking, throwing back, and incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down. Talaase Puloka, the intended receiver, the tight end. And again, the offense heads to the sidelines.
Well, SMU is winning the battle on 1st and 2nd down. And if Nevada doesn't start creating some things with their pistol offense, SMU has done a great job of taking the ball out of Colin Kaepernick's hands and putting the game in the hands of the 2 young backs.
Sanders back at his own 30. Langley, a high snap, goes up to get that. The 59-yarder a couple of punts ago. A short one again this time. I said the last one was short. This one goes sideways out of bounds. Good field position for the SMU offense. Something to cheer about if you're cheering for SMU. 24-0 over Nevada. A shocker right now.
Yeah, it's pretty startling. 24 zip. I don't think people would be surprised if it was the other way around. And how about Padron's day?
Going to throw again. Near sideline. Connects again. Robinson again. Out of bounds. Inside Nevada territory at the 47. Nearly perfect today. Kyle Padron, the freshman.
Yeah, he has been sensational. And he's on pace to break some records in this game. A game that has seen a lot of offense over the years. 16 for 20. He's already over the 250-yard mark, and he doesn't even look like he's broken a sweat yet.
It really doesn't. They've made it look easy. He's had his pick of receivers. Missed one, which may have been a touchdown to Robinson. Had him open deep. It's 1st and 10 again. No pressure on him at all. Throws. Sanders caught. Hit hard. Holds on. At the 30-yard line, Emmanuel Sanders, good hands, and he hauled it in. Took the hit from Mo Harvey.
Well, this is arm talent, and it's going to be a corner route over the top of the cornerback and underneath the safety, and watch the adjustment by the ball. On the ball by Sanders, and he takes a big-time lick. But Padron, I mean, he put that ball there with some velocity. He got the ball on number 17 in a hurry. What a game thus far by this true freshman.
And Sanders having a big day as well. Man, who had 91 catches on the year. Padron just flips it out up to the first row. That came sidearm. Yeah, Kevin Baspet had a hole of him.
Yeah, but that's a strong play, and that's a heck of a play by Padron. It wasn't pretty.
He didn't get outside the pocket, though. The tackle, they're going to throw the flag.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 2. The down will be counted despite the foul. 2nd down.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure he didn't get outside the tackle box on that play. I mean, it looked like he escaped to his right. The ball was on the hash. And yeah, because the football was snapped on the hash there, I don't think he quite got outside the tackle box, but still a pretty heady play by Kyle Padron. I mean, that's very close to getting outside the box there, and he did get the throw, if you can call it a throw, beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that last look was a good angle. Didn't quite get outside the box, so it's 2nd and 19 now. Chandre McNeil, patient. Bounces outside, got a block inside the 30 to the 27. And, you know, you talked about it. I mean, the more you watch this guy on tape, you realize, because the run and shoot, even though there is run along with the run and shoot, it's kind of known as a receiver offense and all the adjustments the receivers make. I mean, he's had over 1,000 yards for a reason.
Well, June Jones gets you thinking pass, and he gets you spread out in the secondary, and then he drops a draw play or one of those wide running plays. From time to time they'll run a lead or a zone play, and then you got a guy with the talent of a Chandre McNeil who can stop and start. He's got the lateral ability.
Zach Line in for him now, more physical back. Another completion near sideline at the 20. Aldrick Robinson.
Now the Wolfpack better find a way to create some pressure on Kyle Padron, or this is going to turn into a long afternoon. And it's already been a long first half for the Wolfpack. This is a stunner.
He was just shy of that first down marker, so they will go for it on 4th and 1.
You get the feel that this SMU offense is doing just about whatever they want on offense, and why not go for it here on 4th down?
Zach Line, their short yardage back, is in there. 6'1", 238 pounds. So Padron's going to throw. Quick drop, quick throw. Wide open for the catch and a first down is Terrence Wilkerson. I mean, that wasn't even a drill.
You can tell that Padron's been schooled at the quarterback position. His feet are perfect. And watch, he gets the right foot set. The ball comes out on time. And you don't throw out routes much better than he did on that ball. That was nice work between quarterback and wide receiver, and the offensive line for SMU is keeping Padron clean in the pocket.
June Jones's offense has had 21 plays inside Nevada territory, and the Wolfpack only 4 plays run from scrimmage on the SMU side of the football field.
Country, over 362 yards a game.
1st and 10 from the 11, so they can get a first down. Sanders just dropped it, and there was no one within 10 yards of him. And he can't believe it.
Well, I think Padron can't believe it either. That was pitch and catch. And I think Padron can afford to take a little bit off this football. And that was actually a nice throw. That was a nice ball, and not a great adjustment to the football by Sanders. That should have been a touchdown.
Number 1 guy in terms of active receivers in touchdown receptions and yards. National.
Well, he's turned into a great leader for this team. A guy that was questionable at times last year, suspended for the last 2 games. I thought it was a master stroke by June Jones to suspend him for those final 2 games, and he has really responded this year.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Yeah, they tried to burn a timeout, couldn't do it because they're out. You saw Padron thinking timeout, do we have enough, but they get the delay of game.
June Jones talking to his young quarterback, and I'm sure he's telling him, you have got to find that play clock when you break the huddle. And everything that you're doing at the line of scrimmage in terms of game management is in perspective of where that clock is. Can't afford to take 5-yarders in the red zone.
As a quarterback, is that the first thing you do when you break the huddle?
Absolutely. It's just instinctive. It's the first thing you do when you break the huddle.
2nd and 15. The drone to the outside. And hit and driven out of bounds. Just outside the 11. Mike Bethea, the junior from Carlsbad, California. 3rd and 10. To the end zone, Sanders, and a flag as he tries to make a play on the ball, and Mo Harvey did not. Harvey with his back to the ball and never made a play.
No, and Harvey had his hands full man-to-man outside on Sanders.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
SMU's doing a great job of creating some matchups and getting wide receivers open in the secondary. And you can see there Harvey not getting his eyes back to the football. And the moment he makes contact, whether he's got his hands up in the air or not, the flag's going to go against the blue jersey.
So for the 4th time in the game, SMU with a 1st and goal. And got a couple of touchdowns and a field goal out of the previous 3 trips. Drone, plenty of time. Tips and incomplete. Mike Bethea high into the air to get a piece of that.
Well, I used to walk down the hill. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, Terry, and I used to walk down the hill and watch Mouse Davis coach June Jones. June Jones would be playing quarterback at Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon, and then Neil Lomax followed June Jones. And I remember them just making it look easy, effortless in the pocket, and never facing a lot of pressure. You know, their offense spreading the defense out, and that's what we're seeing in this game. Padron, even though he forced the ball on that last play, he just is having all the time in the world to count the house.
2nd and goal under center. Play action. Rolling, he can run if he wants. No, he's going to throw it. Makes a good decision. Touchdown, SMU. Cole Beasley with the catch. And even the SMU fans kind of blasé about it in the stands. Like, oh, opera clap. Oh, no, now they go. It's been that type of game, though. They come to expect it.
Well, you get an idea of the athleticism of Padron. I mean, he's just going to put it on the defensive player there and force his hand. Is he going to come off of Beasley, or is he going to take Padron and drops it off to his slot man? 31. Nothing.
There was no play. The previous play is under further review.
Pending an extra point and pending the review. This is one of the more shocking scores I've seen in the first half of a bowl game in maybe a decade or two.
So they're taking a look at that left foot. No, he's in. And the play should stand.
Well, and also there's a question of whether he stepped out of bounds before he came back in to make the catch.
That's what I say, the left foot, but it looked, to me at least, like he kept it in. Right there is where he would have stepped out, and that.
Yeah, and on the catch, it appeared that he did have his foot in, but prior, when he was working the sideline, right here before the ball arrives, did he step out of bounds? Before he got that left foot reestablished inside the sideline in the end zone.
Nothing that we have seen is indisputable and would reverse the call, and that official, normally the hat comes out and makes a mark when he steps out, and he did not do it.
Yeah, the official was all over the call. Good position. This has been an absolute clinic by SMU on offense. And I have to be honest, Terry, this isn't the first time we've seen this from a June Jones team.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So we will now see the extra point. And Matt Szymanski trying to make it 31-0. Yeah, you're right in what you say, but I don't know many who expected anything close to this today. So it is 31-0 on Christmas Eve in Honolulu. June Jones and the SMU Mustangs, and a freshman quarterback leading the way. A moment ago we had a shot of the SMU fans who were not reacting all that vociferously to the touchdown catch, and I said maybe a little blasé. They've come after 25 years. What am I kidding me? I mean, that's
you're kidding you.
I'm kidding me. What, are you kidding me? I mean, June Jones bringing this program back. A lot of people. He said it. He said the biggest thing was I saw tears in the eyes of old men, and we accepted that bid. Mike Ball bringing it back out to the 35. Good return. Colin Kaepernick trying to get something going right before the break. Nevada has yet to have a play longer than 10 yards. SMU is at 12 of those variety of plays, and Kaepernick throws it away. Margus Hunt in there to pressure him.
I'm not sure what is more shocking, Terry Gannon. SMU scoring 31 points on Nevada in the first half, or SMU shutting out Nevada in the first half. And there's Tom Mason. Now, this is an offense that in 9 games in the WAC conference averaged over 50 points a game, and they're being shut out.
Tom Mason, by the way, played for Chris Ault and was an assistant at Nevada. Swing pass to Lamford Mark, nothing doing, even though he was there and made the catch. But this offense has been absolutely shut down.
Well, we talked to Chris Ault during the week. He said, hey, we're looking forward to seeing these young running backs. We're still going to operate as an effective offense, but I think it's safe to say that they are really missing Mr. Tawa, especially in this game.
Tawa, Luke Lippincott, 2,000-yard rushers. If you weren't with us and don't know the story, they're out. Tawa because of academics, Lippincott because of a toe injury. This one's complete. Chris Wellington is drilled, but he hangs on. The junior from Woodland Hills, California, hit hard by Chris Banjo, but they'll move the chains.
Yeah, this was a dangerous throw, but a good throw. Nevada with 2 wide receivers in the same area of the field. And Colin Kaepernick is equally effective rolling to his right or his left, throwing the football. That was a pretty nice ball on the move.
Gain of 19, the longest play from scrimmage today. Kaepernick steps up, had time initially. Kennemer flushes him out of the pocket, takes precious seconds off the clock, though, and that might do it. And it does, as the teams will head to the locker room. So Kaepernick not able to find anyone open downfield. Chris Ault, College Football Hall of Famer. 5 straight years to a bowl, but they're struggling again. They've lost their last 3, and SMU and June Jones dominating during the first half. We'll see if he got out of bounds before the clock ran out, David.
Well, this is one of Kaepernick's fortes. 2 straight years over 1,000 yards at the quarterback position, and I think Nevada was due another play.
Should have gotten one more play, huh?
Passing yards was set in 1968 in the Bluebonnet Bowl. 281 yards. They have 301 yards at half today. And look at the way that Kyle Padron is spreading the love during the holidays. All sectors of the field.
A couple of touchdowns as well, and over 300 yards in the air for Padron as light drizzle falls to open up the second half. Khalid Wooten bringing this one back from the goal line. Hesitates, slices through and across the 30 for the Nevada offense to go to work. And you got to believe that it will click at some point. This is an offense that led the nation in rushing yards per game, 362 yards per game, and by far the leading team on the ground, and second leading offense in terms of total offense throughout the year, number 5 in points. So they've been shut out for Chris Ault through the first half of play here. They'll place it down just outside the 30 at the 32, 1st and 10 for their first play of the second half. Kaepernick, the high snap out of that pistol offense. They keep it on the ground and get it across the 30 to the 37 with Lamford Mark. So you got Luke Lippincott out with a toe injury. Vaitaua, who did not get enough academic credits this semester to be eligible, and you got to go with Lamford Mark and Mike Ball, and so far it hasn't worked.
Well, and just when you think things can't get worse, if you're Chris Ault, you're down 31-0, you go into the locker room and you come out in a situation where you got to come back, and you come out of the locker room and it's a rainstorm.
In Hawaii, of all places. You feel like it is working against you. Mark, tough running across the 40 and about a yard and a half shy of a first down. Pete Fleps, the inside linebacker from Southlake, Texas, on the hit.
Well, and you have to be fair, too, when you assess what went on in the first half. This has not been an impressive performance offensively or defensively for Nevada. And they came out flat, and I think they've been staggered by the efficiency of the Mustangs on both sides of the football.
Trying to pick up a 3rd and 1 right now. Courtney Randall runs right into the line of scrimmage, and that's where he stops. So the SMU defense again with a big play. Chase Kennemer in there, and June Jones on both sides of the football just dominant.
Now, Kennemer has a great knack for picking his way through blockers, for getting off of blocks. Instinctively, he's one of the better inside linebackers we've seen this year. You're watching him on film, and keep in mind, he was a walk-on at SMU.
Nobody made contact with him, no, and Chris Barker ran right by him. Brad Langley on, he's been active today. This is a pretty good punt. Sanders with the fair catch signal at his own 10-yard line. In a moment to remind you, Jeremiah Masoli leading the Pac-10 champs, the Ducks, Fire, and the Buckeyes, the granddaddy of them all. Number 8 Ohio State taking on number 7 Oregon in the Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. Should be a pretty good one. We have watched Oregon all year.
That is going to be a great football game, Terry, and just a great contrast in styles. Tressel's going to come in and play it tight to the vest, play defense to his special teams, and then you got that Oregon offense. And Jeremiah Masoli, the way he spreads the ball around, and a whole host of backs to go to. LeGarrette Blount is back. How about the year LaMichael James has had? That is going to be a special game on New Year's Day.
Fire, Masoli, 2 pretty good running quarterbacks. High snap, and it's whistled dead. False start.
False start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Up until this point, and this is an SMU team that has been nearly perfect in every way, including penalties and turnovers.
And I was a little surprised that Chris Ault didn't think about maybe going for it on 4th down, even 4th and 2 on his own 40 when you're down 31-0. Desperate times require desperate measures, and I think if we see Nevada get in that situation again here in the second half, I won't be surprised if they start rolling the dice on it.
SMU bowl record, those 303 yards. Sombre McNeil Brought down by Nate Agayava along with James Michael Johnson. Now bring up second. Nevada defense that has been very good against the rush. Ryan Matthews had 100 yards plus against them, but that's it this year on the ground. But struggled a bit against the pass.
Yeah, I'd say more than a bit. They're giving up a lot of yards on the back end, and teams have really had their way against Nevada. You go back to last year, the Wolfpack was dead last in the NCAA in pass defense, and they haven't exactly shored things up in the 2009 season.
Ken Wilson, the defensive coordinator for this game, but he's been with Chris Ault a long time. Padron throws on the run. He's got Sanders for another first down. And Emmanuel is slow to get up on that far sideline.
Well, the run and shoot offense was originally designed for a quarterback to come away from center with 2 slots, 2 wide receivers, and come on the half roll. Now this is play action here, but the same principle, throwing off that front foot, that right foot on the move, and Padron, he's very patient and he's content to take a little bit off the football when he has Sanders running free by a couple steps. Puts it right on his receiver.
June Jones offered Kyle Padron, as you see Sanders being worked on the sideline, a scholarship before his senior year of high school. He wasn't even a starter. He hadn't really played yet. They saw him at camp, but that was it. When he broke his hand and only played 5 games his senior year. McNeil on the carry up to the 27-yard line.
Terry, you brought it up in the first half. June Jones is very quick to give Mouse Davis the credit as the originator of this offense. But June Jones has done a great job tweaking it over the years, making adjustments. Defenses do things over time to take away great offensive schemes. Now, this was truly the first offense, decades ahead of its time, where wide receivers would come off the line of scrimmage and read the secondary and adjust their routes after the snap of the football. Quarterback on the same page, really a load for a defensive backfield to handle.
Padron throws on the run again and complete. Bradley Haynes, but well defended. Brought down just across the 25 by Jonathan Amaya. And I think about what June Jones did at Hawaii, 0-12 to 9-4 the next season. Largest turnaround, biggest turnaround in FBS history, and now the biggest turnaround in 2009.
Yeah. Look at that. I mean, that is really a great story. When you look at where Hawaii was when he took over, and then SMU. I mean, this SMU program, the kids were beat down. The confidence was lost. And I'd love to see a team over here in Hawaii that enjoys the experience the way they have.
Sanders back in there healthy. Makes a nifty move. Cuts back, looks for a block. And brought down at the 36. He lost the football. Nevada has it. The Wolfpack coming up with it at the 27, and the SMU player saying, he was down. But it looks to be marked right there at the 27. Doyle Miller, the man who came up with the football.
Yeah, this was an exciting play, but not a smart play by Sanders. And it looks like the ball's coming out. I mean, we hear about skill athletes getting the ball north and south. This is all east-west.
Dante Moak caused the fumble. The great defensive end for Nevada. Sanders trying to look up and see it on the big screen, the replay, and see if the ball did come out before he went down, and they'll take a closer look at it.
Yeah, it's tough to tell definitively. We'll have to take a couple looks, but that was not a smart play by Sanders. You had the opportunity to get the ball upfield. Your team's up 31-0, and he tried to make a highlight reel play when it really wasn't necessary. And this is one of the ways that you can get a team back in the game. 31-0. Stranger things have happened.
So they'll take a look upstairs. The official review underway. And the knee.
Can't tell, it's out of the frame there, but that might be the question of whether that left knee was down here. Watch the left knee.
And the knee looks to be down.
Yeah, and I think they are going to rule him down there. It doesn't have to be the knee necessarily. It can be in between the ankle and the knee. If your hand hits the ground or your foot is touching the ground, then the play stays alive, but the knee or any part of the knee down to the ankle, and the ball carrier would be ruled down.
And it looks to be down right there, and he's still got the football in his possession.
And that's a great hustle play by Dante Moak, stripping the football. And
is it indisputable? That's the question.
Well, the knee is down, but now the question becomes, is the ball coming loose on the strip by Moak? June Jones is not going to show his senior wide receiver up on the sideline, but you know they're talking to him over there and they're saying, Emmanuel, get the ball upfield, son. You know, tremendous talent and the active NCAA leader, touchdown receptions and yards, prolific career at SMU, and he's turned into a real leader for this team.
And if you talk to NFL scouts, he will be a high draft pick.
The first down at the 35-yard line, SMU.
SMU football, so they do reverse it. And if you're Chris Ault, if you're a Nevada fan, you got to be thinking right now, what more can go against us?
Well, I'll tell you, with this offense, a lot more can go wrong. If I know June Jones, he's not going to take his foot off the pedal. Get one last look there. Terry, I went down and watched Portland State play back in the 70s when Neil Lomax was a quarterback. It was Portland State against Delaware State, and of course Mouse Davis is still the head coach. The final score was 105-0. And Neil Lomax threw 7 touchdown passes in 1 quarter. It was 49-0 before the end of the first quarter.
So the foot did not come off the pedal.
No.
Sean Bray McNeil racing to the edge. Stiff arms, and he does that well. Out to the, well, about the 43-yard line. Sanders, nice block that helped spring him.
And June Jones does a great job of passing out credit, and he talks about Jerry Glanville, his former defensive coordinator in the glory years here at Hawaii with June Jones, and he says everything that we do on defense is based on Jerry Glanville and his scheme, and was giving Coach Glanville quite a bit of credit throughout the week here, the bowl week in Honolulu. Of course, Jerry Glanville recently stepped down as the head coach at Portland State.
And Nigel Burton, the defensive coordinator from Nevada, took that head coaching position. Robinson racing down the sideline, over the shoulder catch inside the 5. And the beat goes on.
Wow. Kyle Padron is throwing some NFL-type balls in this game. You cannot throw a go route better than this. Uses his eyes to look the secondary off, and Aldrick Robinson, one of the fastest players in Division I, catches the ball full stride. And June Jones said that Michael Haynes might be the fastest wide receiver he's ever had, college or pro, and had him at the Falcons, but he says Aldrick Taylor is, if he isn't as fast as Michael Haynes, he's a quarter step slower.
53-yard pass sets him up first and goal. And Zach Line tripped up just past the line of scrimmage by Zach Madonic.
I mean, how about the throws that Kyle Padron has made in this game? Granted, his offensive line is doing a great job of creating a clean pocket, keeping him alive and giving him plenty of room to deliver the football, but Padron has made some difficult throws look easy.
This defense has been on the field quite a bit for Nevada. Line to the goal line and in. Touchdown. SMU again. "25 years of frustration all coming out here in Honolulu."
Well, these games are fun if you're SMU on the sidelines. Everybody getting happy. Everybody's going to get their name in the paper. Zach Line, a converted linebacker and tailback for the Mustangs.
Mansky on for another extra point. 38-0. The proud program of Doak Walker, Don Meredith, Eric Dickerson. They're back.
Without you, I'll be.
Now, I know fans sometimes bring their gloves to baseball games. What would possess you to bring a pineapple? Let's have it. What are you going to do with that, Mr. Norrie?
Well, it's location appropriate.
All right, if you're a real man like Vic Valoria, the strength and conditioning coach, that's how you welcome back the guy who just scored a touchdown. Not the smartest thing in the world, but he's tough. Mike Ball bringing this one back.
We are in Hawaii, Mr. Gannon.
Yes, we are. What's that mean? You headbutt without a helmet in Hawaii?
Bring a pineapple to the game in Honolulu.
For what reason? Take pictures, maybe. Pose for pictures, I guess.
Carve it up.
And Vic is pumped up, as they should be on that sideline. 38-0. And Nevada taking over at the 26-yard line. Colin Kaepernick has led them all season long. He's been the guy who's made the offense go, but without a couple of his backs this afternoon, this has been a stalled offense.
Tau and Lippincott combined 210 yards per game, but Terry, I can't help but think that wouldn't have made much of a difference.
Step away, come right back. You know, David, the Hawaiian Islands were formed by volcanic activity. I'm not sure you know that or not.
No, I wasn't aware of that, Terry. But I am aware of this. This place has spectacular beauty that we don't see week in and week out.
Sidearm throw out to Brendan Wimberly. And should have a first down or be close to it. A little extra after the play. And they'll break him up quickly.
I was just kidding. Of course I knew the islands were formed by volcanic activity.
Still going on today as we speak. There's a guy who does not change expressions during a game very often.
No, and I think, initially last year, 1-11 season at SMU, some of the Mustang backers questioned whether his heart was in it. I think they found out different.
Mike Ball, the ball carrier, bounces out and gets to the 44-yard line. So a couple of good positive plays to open up this series for Nevada.
I think it becomes about saving some dignity in this game, and Nevada has got to piece together a drive here. They've got to find a way to get back in rhythm, and I think Colin Kaepernick has got to start carrying the ball some from the quarterback position.
After Mark breaks through into the secondary, and he'll have a first down at the 43 of SMU. Nevada averaged 362 yards per game on the ground. The number 2 team in the nation, Georgia Tech, more than 55 yards less than the Wolfpack per game.
Yeah, and we talked about it. 3 1,000-yard rushers, 2 are out of this game. But Colin Kaepernick, back-to-back 1,000-yard years. He's only the 10th quarterback in college football history to achieve that feat.
This is the first play from scrimmage inside SMU territory since the opening drive for Nevada. Remember, they were stopped on that 4th and 2 to start the game. First time they've been back.
We talked to defensive coordinators, and we did the Nevada-San Jose State game earlier this year. You talk to defensive coordinators, and they want to get Kaepernick in obvious throwing situations, and they want to put you in 3rd and long, 2nd and long, but there haven't been many teams that have been able to achieve that. And SMU has played big-time ball game on defense. Front 7 has been lights out.
Had the hurry-up offense going, but Kaepernick takes some time to make the calls at the line of scrimmage right now. Wants to throw, looks to run, picks up a first down, run out inside the 30. So the drive continues. What do you think about Colin Kaepernick? Only a junior, but at the next level, perhaps.
Well, I think he needs another year of seasoning, and he's going to get it. He's only a junior, but his combination of size, his speed, he's about a 4'6" guy. Athleticism, makes good decisions. I think he's going to be intriguing if he can continue to develop throwing the football. He's made some great strides off of last year.
Number 2 in Nevada history in total offense, almost 10,000 yards. Can't get a block right now. And brought down at the 25-yard line. Remember, he's a heck of an athlete. Drafted this past year by the Cubs as a pitcher. Throws in the mid-90s, even though he hasn't played lately.
Well, and it's interesting. Throws in the mid-90s, and he was a sidearm thrower, a sidearm passer a year ago. And Chris Ault even says that he's progressed from being a thrower to a passer, but they cleaned up his mechanics, and his accuracy and his percentage shot up to over 60%.
Play action, throws sidearm this time, slings it out, has his man complete along the far sideline. That's Trey Session, the sophomore from Long Beach, California.
That's a sweet ball on the move, and he throws just as well moving to his left as he does to his right. And he asked me, Terry, about his prospects on Sundays. The question is going to be, can he drop back 5 and 7 and throw the ball in rhythm, and can he become a good passer? The rhythm throws from the pocket, but he is very good on the move.
And does not really do that very often out of this offense. Going to give it to Ball. Legs going inside the 5 to the 4. Yuri Yenga, the junior from Texas, originally from Congo. On the hit. And for the first time today, a sustained drive for Nevada. They've taken it down inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
The question was whether this front 7 would hold up for SMU, and most people said no. The Yuri Yenga, Taylor Thompson, Marquise Frazier, and Chris Parham, they have been rock solid along that defensive front.
Play action. Kaepernick tipped up, dangerous, and incomplete. Could have been picked off to Garrett Davis, only a freshman, and going to be a good one.
Yeah, he has the look of a football bowl subdivision linebacker. We used to say a D1 player, but now we say FBS. But he has a frame and the athletic ability to really be a special player. State high hurdles champion. Out of the state of Texas.
3rd and goal. Wolfpack desperately trying to get something on the board. Kaepernick flushed out, running, looking, running. Hit hard, lost the football, but it's out of bounds. Lost it at the 4. That's where they'll mark it, but it'll be 4th and goal.
Yeah, and I think he lost it inside the 3, maybe even at the 2-yard line. But if this ball is fumbled forward, it would be moved back to the spot of the fumble. But here the ball's going to go backwards, and Nevada loses the yards. And I'm a little surprised that they're going to kick a field goal down 38-zip.
If he doesn't lose it out at the 4, if he lost it at the 2, maybe Chris Ault does go for it. Ricky Drake hasn't had many chances this year, only his 9th field goal try, and he gets it. So he's 6 for 9 on the year. And at least something on the board for Chris Ault and the Wolfpack. Mr. Nori used to stay in his little dorm room in the Athletic and Convocation Center, the Notre Dame basketball room, and he would sneak me out onto the court at 3 a.m. to shoot baskets at Notre Dame before the night watchman would run us off.
Yeah, no, you've told me multiple stories about Rudy, and I grew up in Portland, you grew up in Chicago, so you were, much closer to South Bend, but I think it's safe to say we both grew up Notre Dame fans, and it's just what you did if you were back in the 70s, and a lot of people obviously followed Notre Dame football back at that time, and they still do, but it's one of my favorite sports movies.
Having known him before he was quote-unquote Rudy, number 1, he hasn't changed a bit in years. Number 2, it's just, now you talk about Notre Dame and you say Rockne, Leahy, Parsegan, and Rudy. It's unbelievable. Sean Bray McNeil, and by the way, that movie's absolutely true. I saw it all. McNeil with the carry and a short gain. They'll keep it on the ground. Jonathan Amaya on the hit, but you would expect, right, at this point, 255 and running, they might keep it on the ground. Or would you? I mean, you talked about June Jones keeping the foot on the pedal.
Well, June Jones is going to work the clock a little here, but he's always going to sprinkle some run in to keep things fresh in the pass game. And boy, he has to be. I know he's not giving it away, and you can't see it the way he's carrying himself on the sideline and his demeanor, but he has to be thrilled about the way his team is playing on his return to Hawaii.
Yeah, it's all over his face. You could the emotion, as you say, a little bit high and behind Sanders.
You know, I was not surprised at the way things unraveled for USC in November, just because it was the first time in so long that, you know, in a lot of ways the Trojans didn't have something to play for, and I think it showed at times on both sides of the football down the stretch.
Will that come out in the bowl game?
That's a big storyline.
You know, the drone steps up, avoids the rush, keeps going, and finally brought down out at the 25-yard line. How about the that Carolina hit game too, though? You've got I mean, Pitt was so close to a Big East BCS bid, and Carolina, great defense for them, and just a couple of hours from Chapel Hill, playing that game in Charlotte. On for the punt. Thompson with flags coming down. Can't get away. Dropped at the 35, balls loose. Nevada appeared to get there first. So they'll sort out the fumble first, and then the penalty marker. And Nevada did get there, but we'll have to wait and see what the penalty is.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
I'm taking a look at the top of the play, and the ball is out.
And it was definitely a fumble.
And Kennemer is a guy that you just love to have on your defense.
It's a guy that's just shocked them in some ways. You know, played a little bit last year, comes in this year as a starter and ends up being your star. Leads you in tackles.
He's also been a star in the classroom.
Cannons going off in the background, and they'll run the pistol offense with a short gain across the 25.
I mean, typically when we do Nevada games, we get into the pistol a little bit. We talk about the offense, but you know, it has not been a factor. And Chris Ault's offense obviously built around a quarterback in the shotgun at about 4.5 yards. The tailback's 3 yards behind him, and you have the ability to go both ways. You don't tip your hand in terms of which way the running back can go, left or right. Gives you some nice blocking angles, and really the advantage is getting downhill and having balance to go both ways in your offensive scheme.
Play action, Kaepernick throws on the run. Look, the big tight end has a first down. But that's, you know, coming in, the big question was SMU's defense is built around speed. It's undersized. It's not built to stop a run game like Nevada, but they've just shut it down.
Well, and you know, there's a difference between the East and West Division teams in Conference USA. The East is more of a power running division. They like to throw the ball and finesse it a little bit more in the West, but SMU has struggled against teams that have been physical up front, and we're talking about the leading team in rushing offense in the country, this Nevada offense, 362 plus per game.
Time to throw for Kaepernick, goes into traffic and broken up. Nice play by Brian McCann, who timed it perfectly.
And the secondary for SMU has had a nice ball game as well. McCann, a guy who's really progressed, excellent speed, number of high school sprint champions on this SMU roster. McCann is one of them. They're dynamic as a kick returner. And that is solid coverage down the football field against a big tight end.
He's a guy who's come back from so much in his career. He had open heart surgery, Ken, as a 2-year-old. That car accident, serious one as a 6-year-old, had a broken leg, ankle his senior year of high school. Kaepernick's dropped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of about 2. And again, it's number 9 in there, Kennemer, to hit him. We're headed to the 4th in Honolulu. June Jones is happy. Chris Ault, not so much. Gorgeous setting.
You told me you were dropping some bombs on the course the other day.
Nah. Over the middle, Wimberly had it and lost it.
Wherever we go, our producer Jim Zeroli matches up against Terry Gannon out on some of the nicer layouts across the country and in the islands. And apparently Mr. Gannon was red hot with the blade the other day.
The flat stick. Yeah, blind squirrel once in a while. 4th down. Yeah, the punt team on again. Nobody's back deep for SMU. Yeah, finally they have to.
Timeout. SMU. They're first to the half.
And no one was out there. They burn a timeout. June saying, "Where's my return man?" It's not him.
That was it. Cliffhanger, double OT.
Sun setting here in Honolulu. Emmanuel Sanders a chance to return this one. Blocking the back, and everybody who has a hanky just threw it, including in the stands. That one was obvious.
How about the game that Austin Carter Samuel had in that New Mexico Bowl for Wyoming? Dave Christensen has a quarterback to look forward to over the next 3 years, much as June Jones does.
And waiting a long time for what seems to be a pretty obvious call here.
And Terry, they need to take their time here. I mean,
There are 2
there's a lot that
flags
goes into this.
on the play during the return. Holding, return team number 31, that penalty is declined. Illegal block in the back, return team number 26. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I think he's going to be a great draft pick for an NFL team.
Swing pass to McNeil, breaks through, has a first down at the 32. A lot of football people this year just talking to different people around the country when they saw C.J. Spiller in person for the first time, were very surprised. I mean, it had a number of people tell me, I think he's the best back in the country.
Well, he's got the size. Obviously, he has the speed, but he has great moves in the open field, ability to slip tackles and then get to the top end speed in a hurry. And he's beyond his years in terms of development, and he will be an every down back.
Still throwing out of the run and shoot. An incomplete. Cole Beasley, the intended receiver.
And there's very few backs that come out of college football and move to Sundays that can carry the ball every down and have the big play ability of a C.J. Spiller. And we mentioned Javid Best as the other tailback that really jumps out at you in terms of big play tailbacks, exciting running backs in the open field this year in college football. But C.J. Spiller has the build and the frame, to pack the mail 25, 30 times a game.
Ingram, Earhart, different type runners. Best, smaller back, explosive, but Spiller kind of a blend.
Yeah, he can do it all.
Padron had 3 guys open on that play, and he finds Sanders. There is a flag in the backfield, and it came in late.
Yeah, this might be a late hit.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 55. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
This run and shoot offense can frustrate a pass rush, and Dante Moak, one of the best pass rushers west of the Mississippi. 34.5 tackles behind the line of scrimmage over the last 2 years. Defensive player of the year in the WAC, and looks like he's had enough of watching Kyle Padron slide around in the pocket and hit balls down the football field.
You know, as a team, Nevada with 29 sacks this year. They led the WAC, and they're just not getting to Padron at all today. 1 sack on the day. Going deep, far sideline, incomplete. Sanders had a look over the outside shoulder to try to get to that one. And every play, Padron over to talk to his head coach.
And June Jones calls the plays, and look at the numbers. 1968 Astro Bluebonnet Bowl passing yards record for SMU. 268. Kyle Padron had that record taken care of at halftime. 301 yards for the Mustangs in the first half.
Bluebonnet Bowl. Boy, that takes you back to your youth, doesn't it?
It really does.
Padron, little flip out to Zach Line near the original line of scrimmage.
My first year at UCLA back in 1981, I was redshirting as a freshman, but we played Michigan in the Bluebonnet Bowl game. And I remember AC, Anthony Carter, Butch Woolfolk, Steve Smith at quarterback. And the Wolverines took care of us that night. It was a New Year's Eve night, if I recall. My head coach Terry Donahue was not very excited in the locker room after the game. And he let the team know about it.
About the same emotion that Chris Ault is feeling right now. Padron, they pick up the blitz, get it to Sanders. He's going to lose yardage though. And a helmet. Nate Agayava took the helmet away and any gain away. So we approach the 12-minute mark of the fourth quarter here in the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl, the 8th edition. It's been all SMU since the start. First bowl trip in 25 years, 1984 their last one, and it was right here in Aloha Stadium. Szymanski normally, today at least, has been on for extra points. One of the rare punts. And it's going to sail into the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. So the sun beginning to set here in Honolulu. Nothing like the Honolulu sunset. Old Chicago guy in the blood veins.
Can't believe it's snowing in Big D.
Play action Kaepernick quickly out to Wimberly, who stays in, and then it just pounded by Chase Kennemer, who smiles afterward. So 38-3, and it was 38-0 at one point.
Yeah, let's listen in here.
Go, B, go, B!
That was helmet on helmet. Kennemer plays with a lot of enthusiasm, and he likes to hit stationary targets.
Who doesn't? Kaepernick the throw again near sideline. Nice catch out at the 45-yard line. So little pitch and catch to Chris Wellington, the third leading receiver on the year. Big average for him, a guy who can beat some teams deep.
If Nevada's missing something on offense, it is that speed, and June Jones has plenty of it on his offense. You mentioned some of the sprint champions, Texas State sprint champions, and Oklahoma State sprint champion on the SMU roster. Nevada, I think, needs to retool a bit at wide receiver to complement Wimberly and put some deep speed on the outside.
Can on the blitz, Kaepernick the spin and throws it away, but just to get away from that blitz. Pretty nice move from Colin Kaepernick.
And Colin Kaepernick is an extraordinary talent for a 6'6", 220-pounder. That was Brian McCann coming free on a corner blaze. A blitz from the boundary corner. And you can see that Kaepernick, even though he had his eyes trained down the football field, he felt the corner blitz and spun out of it.
Nevada, in their second trip to the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl, they won it back in 05, beat UCF. Great game, double overtime. Kaepernick steps up, throws and overthrows a wide open Brandon Wimberly. Was under pressure when he threw it, but threw it about 10 feet too high.
Well, the Wolfpack came into this game close to a 2-touchdown favorite. And Terry, we did the East Carolina Boise State game a couple years back. And we saw East Carolina come in with Chris Johnson, a guy who's doing a lot of damage for the Tennessee Titans right now on Sundays. But we saw East Carolina come in and take care of Boise State when the Broncos were close to a 2-touchdown favorite. This game has not always been kind to the team that has been supposed to win on paper.
Kaepernick away from the rush, slings it out, incomplete at the 36-yard line. That is Wimberly, his favorite target, but well, he threw that old-fashioned sidearm style on the move.
We've seen his accuracy rolling to the left, and Kaepernick's going to give you a snapshot here of what he can do moving to his right, throwing it back against the grain. Nice job of checking the danger down the field. Doesn't pick up any white jerseys on his radar screen as Rock Dennis is closing from a safety position. That was a pretty throw.
You mentioned that performance by Chris Johnson here kind of broke out, and people really took notice that. He's got about 1,700 yards this year at the Titans. Lampert Mark breaks it outside, stays in bounds, and has a first down.
Lampert Mark has a ton of speed. He just hasn't been turned loose at the second and third levels of the defense. And with all the scoring that SMU has done on offense, the play of Padron, the wide receivers, the offensive line, I think it's the defense for SMU that has been the story. And just stunning the way that they have shut down one of the better offenses in college football.
Shane Anderson, backup wide receiver in motion. Kaepernick, play action, brought down at the 17. Almost getting through, but Pete Fleps wrapped him up.
Not many chinks in Colin Kaepernick's armor, but you know, I think at times, Terry, he carries the ball a little loosely. You know, he's been pretty successful and been pretty solid in terms of ball security, but that catches up with you when you're carrying the football with that much air.
Second half of the season, Nevada's done a much better job of taking care of the football. The first 3 games, when they lost those 3, it was a 10-1 deficit against, and just as I say it on cue, it pops up and Rock Dennis picks it off. Wow.
Now the ball was on the spot. Good throw from Kaepernick. Malcolm Shepard. You got to make this play to help your quarterback. Dennis makes the play.
From that, but June was emotionally even talking about that trip to Pearl Harbor.
Frank Crash Gans, and he was the head coach with the Kansas City Chiefs in the late 80s. One of the great special teams coaches that the NFL has ever seen, and his son has that same role at UCLA. Check that for Rick Neuheisel right now.
And that is a shot, by the way, from the backside of this stadium. That's how close Aloha Stadium is to Pearl Harbor.
You know, he did the piece today, the musical journey piece on Elvis Presley, and Elvis Presley was involved in the fundraising to establish that involvement.
The drone stepping up, throwing deep. Robinson out there. What a catch again. I mean, Aldrick Robinson making an adjustment and a burst of speed with the ball in the air and the hands to hold on. Wow.
You can't throw the deep ball much better than Kyle Padron has done tonight. And Doyle Miller, after this reception, and that is a big-time catch, as you said, Terry, but after the reception, Doyle Miller was shaking his head. And I don't think these defensive backs have seen quarterbacks and wide receivers get down the field in the regular season and hit passes like they've seen today.
And they say as the handoff goes to McNeil, Sean Bray across the inside the 30 to the 29. Say, look, we had the great run back in the heyday with Eric Dickerson and Craig James, those guys, but before that, yes, we've got the Doak Walkers and some big names, but wasn't a whole lot of success leading up to that. So it's not just the 25 years since and one winning season until this year since then. You know, they've suffered through some years.
But they were a team that would compete, and they went to, you know, a number of Cotton Bowls. Actually went to a Rose Bowl back in the day, believe it or not. And you know, it was a team that was used to competing day in, day out. Year in, year out. They were extremely competitive in the old Southwest Conference.
Neal breaking through close to the 25. This is their 12th bowl in the history of SMU football.
And of course, they really got it going in the early 80s, as you said, with the Pony Express. Everybody remembers.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
This is not something that you take too lightly if you're Nevada.
Jerome still throwing, still connecting. Complete at the 25 to Terrence Wilkerson, the sophomore, second leading receiver on the year.
And it just goes to show you, you cannot take a June Jones offense lightly. And the SMU defense may be the story this afternoon, but people have learned their lesson. June Jones coached at Hawaii, that if you're not hitting on all cylinders, you're not sharp in terms of your responsibilities, a secondary or pass rush, this run and shoot offense can embarrass you.
Jim Wilson stepping in as the defensive coordinator for this game. Timing is everything in life. Padron runs out of bounds inside the 20, so they will move the chains again. He's hurt at the end of this. Be a nice flight back to Dallas for the Mustangs.
Yeah, it looked like Kyle Padron turned his ankle at the end of this play, but watch the mobility, the move at the line of scrimmage to freeze defenders and move the chains. And you can see him grabbing the ankle there just about the time he hits the turf. That right ankle. He has been on the money in this bowl game. I've been impressed, Terry.
Impressed enough to make him our Capital One player of the game, David?
Go ahead and give it to him.
All right, we'll give it.
Show him what he's run.
There you go. And then, see, you say it comes up. 459 passing yards, single game SMU records. Not only a bowl record, which he had in the first half, but a single game record for SMU. Play action, another throw. Quick one complete. Inside the 15 to the 14. Cole Lofton getting in the action, redshirt freshman.
And typically 38-3 lead inside 5 minutes. You know, you might have a problem with the team continuing to throw the football, but this is the run and shoot stripes. This is what they do. And you can't help but think that the SMU program really benefited from the extra practice time, Terry. It used to be you'd get 15 extra practices if you were in a bowl game. Now you can have as many as you'd like, as long as you fall within that hour limitation, number of hours limitation per week. And the SMU has clearly benefited.
Darius Johnson.
Bama to win that football game.
Heisman Trophy winner, though. McNeil to the end zone. And they just keep scoring points here in Honolulu. Like Chandre wanted to take home the pylon. There is a flag, but it's at the end of the play, and it might be the celebration.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 8. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Watch what he does here with the pylon.
Yeah, he had to know that
he's putting. It breaks right to left.
You heard about your exploits on Tuesday. Yeah, that's excessive. That would qualify as excessive.
Yeah.
That was Ocho Cinco.
Yeah. Zemansky for another extra point. And it's 45-3. He missed the putt a little bit to the left, but they get June Jones with the Gatorade of the water.
He pulled it.
He still haven't gotten him. They get him at the end. There he is.
Some of those traditional activities.
It's Hawaii. Anything goes. Gonna bring it back from the 15. Mike Ball returning this. And out to the 40-yard line. They assess the penalty on that kick.
Taking another look at the touchdown. This has been a dominant performance by the offensive line for SMU. And thoroughly controlling the defensive front for Nevada. And then if there's any question that Sean Bray McNeil was a transfer from Miami, there's no longer any doubt.
You're right. He did pull the putt.
That was very, very you-like.
Not me, but the you. Miami. Kaepernick, shotgun, quick throw, Wimberly. And has a first down for Nevada. Would love to get another score up there just to get a touchdown in this game. An offense that averages almost 41 points per game, and they have not gotten into the end zone for Chris Hall.
The WAC conference final 9 games of the season, this offense was piling up 50-plus points per game.
Plenty of time to throw. Kaepernick almost picked off. And that was not going to get there. SMU on the other side, though, you think about how impressive they've been on offense. They've had 19 plays of over 10 yards, 4 plays of 50 yards or more. And remember, they opened up the game. The first 2 touchdown drives of the game first one took a minute and a half. The second one took a minute 5.
Well, and you look at SMU, I mean, they struggled in November. UTEP, Buckram went over 200 yards. Marshall ran the ball at will.
Same long pass far sideline. Session with the catch this time, and he's got enough for the first down.
How can you not like Pitt in that football game?
How can you not? Carolina's a home team. Wimberly thrown to the ground violently. I like Pitt as well. So you like Pitt? You like BC to pull off the upset, or the Trojans?
I like USC in that game, but you know, BC has been up and down. They've been mercurial, and if USC isn't ready to play and BC throws out one of their better games, you know, the Trojans could continue to struggle. And not out of the realm of possibility for Boston College to spring an upset.
Pretty impressive, that graphic just a moment ago, as Kaepernick tacks on more yards right now. They're inside the 5. Dwayne Sanders with the catch for 2,000 yards and 1,000 yards. Back-to-back seasons. First player in NCAA history to do that.
2 of Kaepernick's better throws on the last 2 passes he's hit. And that is impressive, because you know, he did this last year, obviously, back-to-back seasons. He was only the 5th quarterback to do that in NCAA history.
Trying to get to the end zone, throws this one away. And it's 2nd and goal.
And when you look at Kaepernick running the football and how he attacks defenses with his legs, and back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, there've only been 10 quarterbacks that have ever done that at this level. And Chris Holt's not going to be excited in the locker room. It's not going to be a fun plane flight home back to Reno. But there's one thing that he does have, and that's Colin Kaepernick next year.
Stepping up, they got a hold of him now. Had the jersey at the 11, and down he goes.
34 bowl game. I won 34 bowl games back in the early 80s.
Quick toss to the end zone, touchdown. Wimberly with the catch, and Nevada gets 6 on the board. And a moral victory, if anything, right now for that offense.
And Colin Kaepernick looked pretty impressive on the second half of this drive. Made at least 3 throws that were right on the money and not easy throws.
Ricky Drake on for the extra point up and good. Drake, the junior from LA. But Brandon Wimberly, just a redshirt freshman who led them in receptions and receiving yards all year long, makes it a 45-10 game.
You look at Kyle Padron, and I mean he should be a part of that trophy presentation. And you get a look at him there. I mean, he doesn't look like he's old enough to have a learner's permit. His rosy cheeks, and he is, I mean, 5-1 as a starter, taking over with that first win coming on the road against Tulsa. You know, the lone defeat down the stretch for Kyle Padron and SMU was a 3-point loss against Marshall on the road. Don't look now, but SMU was back.
Well, and the scary thing about it too is if you talk to June Jones, you talk to the coaches, they'll say, he doesn't really have an entire grasp of the offense yet. He doesn't have a grasp of everything we're trying to accomplish. Yeah. Okay, 32 for 41, 460 yards, hit 9 different receivers, a couple of touchdowns.
Well, when they look back, and when June Jones looks back, I think we're going to see an onside kick here. I think they're going to say this is a breakout game for Padron.
Jump ball. SMU coming up with it. And so everything going the Mustangs' way today. With a minute 1 left, June Jones, the Mustang fans here cheering him on, and I think the Hawaii fans here, those in attendance at least, cheering for June Jones and SMU. Fireworks going off in the distance. Well, the end zone at least. Short distance. And they're getting ready to race onto the field and celebrate this one.
Nevada with 1 timeout remaining, and SMU can comfortably go to a knee and bleed the clock to zeros. And there's a smile from June Jones. It's about as big a smile as we've seen from him in 15 years.
You're right. Padron to 1 knee. The clock continues to run. You know, he said at the beginning of the year the goal was to win 6 games. He's very honest with his players and talks about you have to win this game, that game, what games you can afford maybe not to win, but 6 wins. That was the goal. They got to 7. They surpassed that. Now they're going to have a bowl win here in the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl.
Well, the story getting back into the bowl game for the first 25 years, that's special. But you also look at SMU, you could tell when they got off the plane that they were thrilled to be here, and that was exciting. And then to come in and play Nevada, the top rushing offense in the country, and win 45-10. And SMU has a lot to be proud about.
The Once Proud program is back in the national spotlight. June Jones, the man who has brought it to this point, 45-10. SMU a winner over Nevada in the 8th edition of the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. It'll be an awfully nice trip back to